My heart rages around like an ocean in my head, because there are so many things that I left unsaid. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. My heart rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that it's not reality.
Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, got my banner, trigger warning banner up. Grab the stream, share it with y'all. Hold on a second, Poppy. I'll let you in just a second. My dog is at the door wanting in the... Oh, she's going to cry now. She's out there whining because I said her name. Hey, Michelle, welcome back. Work and lurk away, ma'am. Welcome back, Donnie and Sherry and Cherie and Gail. Hi, guys. Henny. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, Cynthia Boojak. And Brenda and Margaret, Miss King. Y'all's back. Yeah. Hold on a second. I saw a comment a minute ago. Where did it go? Where did Margaret's comment go about her job? Where did that go? Oh, here it is. She said, "Hey, y'all, it's official. I love my new job. Good. Good, good, good. That makes me happy. That makes me happy." Brenda said, "Love the new intro, stream, and music." Yay, thank you. I like it too. It's pretty cool. Brenda said, "Margaret, I've been thinking of you so much and I'm beyond thrilled for you. I'm embarrassed to say I can't remember what you do, but I'm so happy for you." Yay. Everyone here is so nice, and I've goofed a couple times, not horribly, and everyone just shrugged and says, "It happens." Good. Good. You licked the thumbs up. They do have to follow everywhere we go, right, Cherie? I'm going to have to let her in the door. I'm going to have to let her in. All right, you guys. So we got through the lunch break, and they started.
Calls Michael Manigault.
They started a couple minutes ago with the next witness after lunch. So let's go. That's good, Margaret. I love that. You can't zap people. That's funny. Got my eye on you, Zachary Hughes.
Please stop at the end of the bench. Right back there. Please place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Couple words. I'm in that picture, right?
Please state your name for the record.
Michael Manigault?
Mr. Manigault, you reside in Greenville County?
Yes, sir.
And where do you live?
Dale Street.
And what do you do for a living?
Currently, I'm a photographer
And how long have you been doing that?
since I was 6 years old.
Back in 2020, 2021, were you working for John Mello?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do for John Mello?
I was helping clean his house while he was out of town.
Oh my
And,
God,
how long did you do
really?
that?
Seriously, Henny? Oh no. Well, there goes that, you guys. There goes that. Thank you for the heads up, Henny. I'm going to have to go look into that. Hold on a second. Let me go look. Yep. New trial date set pushed back to May of 2025. Dang. All right. All right. Let's get back to it. I don't know, Brenda. I don't know. The one dude that is like the assistant there, he has had a red coat on the last couple days. And then this guy's got a red coat on. Weird, right? Aw. Jeffrey sent me a picture of him in his office in 1999, and he still looks the same. Why is it that men age so much slower than women? I don't know.
On and off for several months.
And what about October of 2020 through
Hey, Morgana.
2021? Was John Mello living in the United States during that time?
I believe so, but I'm not entirely sure because I didn't keep up with all his movements because I was at the time working 2 jobs and I had to keep track of everything going on at once.
Well, how did y'all communicate?
Text messages or video chats.
All right. And so he would text you and ask you to do things?
I was in work when I was selling shit, sir.
Okay. And what kind of things would he ask you to do?
Yard work, cleaning up. He was moving back to Italy. He was helping me clean his house up to get ready for sale.
And what about, and how would he pay you?
Cash.
Okay. And where was this location?
It was on Blake Street.
Now, back in 2020, 2021, did you meet Zach Hughes?
I met him while John was in Italy, and I did a little work around the house with Zach. That's about all I did with him.
So how did you meet Zach?
Through John.
Through John, and then did you and Zach work together?
On and off throughout a couple of days, yes, sir.
And where would y'all work together at?
At the house.
At the Blake Street house?
Yes, sir.
And how long did you do that with Zach?
About 2 weeks to everything was done. We were doing mostly outside work, a little bit inside, cleaning up around the house on the inside.
And then after October 13th, 2021, did you ever talk with investigators?
I was pulled over. I will get off the bus. I was stopped by 2 investigators at the vape store on Lawrence Road, taken back to the county. That when I was there, questioned if I had any involvement in the crime that I did not know I committed at the time.
Okay. And was that Detective Sparkman and Master Deputy Wolf? Do you recognize
Yes,
them?
sir.
And what did you tell them?
I had no idea the crime was committed. I willingly gave them my phone to go through it so they could check everything. I gave them all the access codes, everything. So I had no.
Voluntarily handed over your phone?
Yes, sir.
And what about, did you voluntarily give them your DNA? Did they swab your mouth?
I don't recall.
I don't recall. Okay. And did they ask you about any other associates that John Mello may have?
No, sir. Not to my recollection.
Well, did you not tell them about Zach Hughes?
I knew Zach Hughes, but that's to the point where I only knew Zach Hughes because of John Mello. I didn't know him before that or during the fact, after the fact.
No, but did you tell these investigators?
That I worked with Zach Hughes, yes, sir.
You told them, the investigators, that you worked with Zach Hughes?
Briefly, not for a long period of time.
Did you tell them that you knew Zach Hughes through John Mello?
I would object to leading.
What did you tell them about
I only knew Zach
John Mello and
Hughes.
Zach Hughes?
I only know John Mello. I knew John Mello for years. I knew Zach Hughes for a brief period of time. This whole situation, I had no idea about the murder, none of that stuff.
Absolutely. But did you tell investigators?
I only knew Mello. I only knew Zach Hughes through John Mello briefly. After we stopped working together, that's the last time I talked to him.
Thank you, Mr. Nagel.
Just to make sure I understand this, you knew Zach for just a total of about 2 weeks, is that right?
Yes, sir. He's a good man, in my opinion. I know that's off record.
Thank you. I think that's all. Thank you.
Lord have mercy. First of all, pink and red, you ready for Valentine's Day or what? Second of all, the glasses had me super confused too. I don't know. It looks like. Anyway. Third of all, slow down when you talk. Fourth, why didn't the lawyer say, let me finish my question before you answer it? And fifth, according to him, Zach Hughes is a good man. Off the record. All right. Jeez. He moves way slower than he talks. That
You're on the
gave
state
me-
calls Master Deputy Blake Wolf.
He gave me anxiety. Like, I think I had a panic attack while he was on the stand. Lord have mercy.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Right, Gail? It's on the record.
Please state your name for the record.
Blake Wolf.
But why wouldn't you want it on the record? Why is that off the record? I don't whatever.
Right, Master Deputy Wolf. Who do you work for?
The Greenville County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been working with them?
I began working with the Greenville County Sheriff's Office in 2019. Before that, I was employed by the Greenville County Department of Public Safety for 7 years.
And what do you currently do for the Greenville County Sheriff's Office?
I'm a master deputy assigned to Bravo Platoon.
Were you ever in homicide?
Yes, sir.
How long were you in homicide?
A little over 3 years.
Did you get involved in this case back in October 13th of 2021?
Yes, sir, I did.
Tell the jury how you got involved in this case.
I was asked to co-lead this case with Investigator Sparkman on October 15th. When Miss Parcell was murdered, I was involved in another case. We concluded that case on the 14th, and then I was asked to assist with this case on the 15th.
Okay, so on the 15th, did you head out to the scene?
No, sir.
What did you do on the 15th?
So the first thing I was asked to do is a Google geofence search warrant for the location where Miss Parcell was murdered.
And what is a Google geofence?
So if you have any Google apps on your cell phone and allow them to store your location data, we can find out, we can get access to that data through Google. So when we have a location where a murder occurred, we can send them a search warrant for that location, a specific radius around that location for a time frame. And if any devices were in that radius, they will let us know. But that only applies to people who allow them to track their location data.
And did you recover anything of significance from those efforts?
No, sir.
All right, so what else did you start doing involved in this case?
On October 19th and the 20th, I went back out to the Canebrake neighborhood and continued canvassing the area for potential witnesses or additional security footage.
So we heard Master Deputy Stokes talk about canvassing this neighborhood. Were you doing sort of the same thing?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all do it two separate times?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
People are at home. People come and go. You know, her murder happened earlier in the day. People could have been at work. So we go at, you know, usually more than once at different times just to try to catch people when they're at home.
And in doing so, did you talk with Donna Gorman?
Yes, sir, I did.
All right, about when did you talk with her?
That'd be the afternoon of October 20th.
And at that time, had y'all obtained ring cameras and video footage related to this case?
Yes, sir, we had.
And did you show her a copy of the individual that was on a bike at that time?
No, I did not.
Did anybody else speak with Donna Gorman?
Investigator Riley Stokes.
And do you know when he spoke with her?
The day of Miss Parcell's murder.
All right. And about when did you obtain video footage of a suspect leaving on a bicycle?
October 14th, I believe.
All right. So after you continued to canvass the neighborhood, what did you do?
I made contact with Miss Gorman and spoke with her.
And then after that, what did you do?
After that, it was on October 22nd that myself and Investigator Sparkman learned that Michael Manigault is somebody that was familiar with John Mello, and it was suggested that we speak with him.
Did you, in fact, try to go and locate Michael Manigault?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Where did you locate him?
So we were told that he rides the Greenlink buses, so we went around to some of their bus stops and we located him getting off a bus on Lawrence Road.
And did you speak with him?
Yes, sir, we did.
Was that the gentleman who just testified?
Yes, sir, it was.
And did you have the occasion to obtain a DNA sample from him?
Yes, sir, he gave consent.
And where did you take that sample?
It was in the CID interview room in the homicide office.
Did y'all carry him down there, or did he meet y'all there?
No, he doesn't have a vehicle, so he rode in Investigator Sparkman's SUV.
And down there, did you take a buccal swab sample?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 111. Ask if you recognize that.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
This is the packaging for the buccal swab that I collected from Mr. Manigault.
All right. And you like to open it?
Yes.
See what's inside of it. All right. And inside State's Exhibit 11.
Yes, sir. This is the buccal swab I collected from Mr. Manigault, 2 of them.
Now, what did you do with those buccal swabs?
I placed them into our property and evidence room.
Now, after you spoke with Mr. Manigault, what did you do?
I began researching Zachary Hughes.
And so how would you go about doing that?
So I started, I just did a basic Google search of Zachary Hughes, Greenville, South Carolina.
And what did you find?
I found,
Your Honor, may we approach? Sure.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Master Deputy Wolf, in trying to locate Zachary David Hughes, what did you do?
So I began by just doing a basic Google search of something along the lines of Zachary Hughes, Greenville, South Carolina. The first thing I noticed is there were several articles online about him being a pianist, being famous for being able to play music by memory.
And then once you had that information, what did you do?
So then I logged into my South Carolina DMV online account and I obtained a picture of Mr. Hughes' driver's license, his DMV photo. I showed that photo to Mr. Manigault just to confirm that I was looking at the same Zachary Hughes that he was referring to.
Was it confirmed?
Yes, sir.
So once you've confirmed the person that you're looking into, what did you do next?
Well, I continued to look at his DMV online account, and one thing that I found was important is the address on his driver's license was 200 Tyndall Avenue. 200 Tyndall Avenue is located within the city limits of Greenville. A few months prior to Ms. Parcells' murder, the Greenville Police Department had installed traffic cameras around the city. So since he lived in the city, I believed if he had a vehicle, there would be some photos on these traffic cameras of his vehicle. So also using my South Carolina DMV online account, I found that he had a gold 1999 Ford Ranger registered to his name. So the city uses a traffic camera system, some people call them license plate readers, LPRs for short, called flock. When you pass a flock camera, it takes a picture of your license plate in the back right side of your vehicle, and then it goes into a database that's searchable. So once I had Mr. Hughes' license plate from the DMV, I entered it into the Flock system. At that time, Flock had a retention period of 90 days, and I found 55 images of Mr. Hughes' vehicle.
Now, explain this, Jerry. So, how many flock cameras are there around Greenville County?
At that time, they were just in the city, I would say maybe 10 to 15.
Okay, so we only had 10 to 15 cameras in the city limits.
Yes, the county had not yet employed any flock cameras.
And now you say you have access to this flock camera system. Is this a nationwide system or a local system?
Yes, so Flock is a national company. They sell these traffic cameras to law enforcement agencies across the country.
All right, so after you searched a car registered to Zach Hughes, what'd you find?
So I found the 55 images of his vehicle during that 90-day retention period. I found 2 images the day of Miss Parcells' murder.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as States Exhibit 114 and 115. I'll ask you if you recognize those.
Yes, sir. These are the Flock pictures of Mr. Hughes' vehicle on October 13th, 21.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibits 114 and 115 into evidence.
No objection. 114 and 115.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm showing you State's Exhibit 114. Can you tell the jury what's in this photo and the time and date?
Yes, sir. This is a photo of Mr. Hughes' 1999 Ford Ranger. It was captured at 2:31 p.m. on October 13th at the Bunkman-Rutherford intersection. And then you can see a black bicycle in the bed of his truck.
So that was at 2:31 in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Why was this significant?
Because we had the video of a suspect leaving the crime scene on a black bike.
I'm going to show you what's State's Exhibit 102. Was this what you were trying to compare it to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what was your conclusions?
My conclusion is that there's a lot of similarities between the bike in the photo you were holding up and the bike in the bed of Mr. Hughes' truck.
Then I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 115. What is that?
That is another flock camera of Mr. Hughes' vehicle at night. Lawrence in East Washington, 7:30 on the same day.
But you can't really see anything.
No, sir.
So as a result of that, what did you do?
So after learning this information, I acquired search warrants for 200 Tyndall Avenue, Mr. Hughes' truck, his DNA, and his cell phone.
Now, did you, after talking with Mr. Manigault and your independent research, did you learn where John Mello lived or had a house at the time?
Yes, sir.
And where is that?
So he has a house here in Greenville in 12 Blake Street.
And did you also look into the location of Mr. Mello at this particular time?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to confirm where he wasn't?
Yes. We obviously had to consider him as a potential suspect. We were told at the beginning he was potentially in Italy, so we had to confirm that.
And were you able to confirm that?
Yes, sir.
So you went and got a search warrant for 200 Tyndall.
Yes, sir.
Did y'all go out to 200 Tyndall?
Yes, sir, we did.
And did you execute a search warrant on that house?
Yes, sir, we did.
All right. Tell this jury how that occurred.
So we started by meeting at a predetermined location a few miles from the address. And we had a deputy in a unmarked vehicle drive by the house to make sure Mr. Hughes was going to be there. Mr. Hughes was actually leaving the driveway at that time, so we waited at our predetermined location until he returned. Once he returned, we went to the house to execute the search warrant.
And did you learn who, now, did the defendant own this house?
No, sir.
Did you discover or learn who the owners of this house were?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
Jeanette and Marshall Lynn.
So how many individuals arrived on which day was this?
This would have been October 22nd.
Okay. So October 22nd.
Yes, sir.
So about 9 days after the murder.
Yes, sir.
So tell us what happened when y'all arrived.
So when we arrived, we sent deputies to the front of the house and then to the back of the house. Their driveway is located behind the house. You have to go down a side street to get to it. And I was one of the deputies that went to the back of the house. I parked directly behind Mr. Hughes's Ford Ranger. When we exited our vehicles, he was standing inside the house right in front of a double French door. When I first observed him, he already had his hands up. So,
And did he have a cell phone?
yes, sir, he did.
Where was the cell phone?
It was in his hand.
Okay. And did you approach him or did he come out?
No, we called him out to us. Yes, sir.
And what did he do when you called him out?
He complied.
Okay. And what did he do with the cell phone?
He put it down on the table he was standing beside, just almost directly inside the French doors.
Did you secure that cell phone?
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
It was collected by another deputy and then transported to be downloaded.
And where did they take that cell phone from?
The kitchen table. Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 112. So you recognize this?
Yes, sir. This is the cell phone that we collected that belonged to Mr. Hughes.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 112 into evidence.
No objection, Your Honor. X, one, two, come to there.
So, I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 116, 117, and 118. Ask if you recognize this.
Yes, sir. These are photos of 200 Tyndall Avenue.
Your Honor, State moves 116, 117, 118 into evidence.
No objection. 116, 117, and 118, United States.
So, we'll show you State's Exhibit 117. What is that?
That is the front door if you're on Tyndall Avenue and you're facing the front of their house.
And was that where Zach Hughes was standing?
No, sir.
I'll show you State's Exhibit 116. What about that?
That is the back side of their residence that leads to the area where we were parked.
And where was Mr. Hughes standing when you?
You can kind of see the French doors through the bushes there, but he was standing there. Yes, sir.
All right, so did y'all effectuate the search warrant?
Yes, sir.
And did you, So what, at this point, what is important to your investigation?
So at this point, we knew Miss Parcell was killed with a sharp force object, so we're looking for any type of knife, screwdriver, anything of those means. Clothing, book bag, a bicycle, things like that.
And did y'all search the house looking for those items?
Yes, sir, we did.
What about who was there, or who was living there during the time of the murder?
Mr. Hughes was living at the residence. I assume the Winds.
Were they there on October 13th?
No.
How do you know that?
When we were able to access Mr. Hughes' cell phone, he was receiving pictures from the Winds while they were in Europe.
And did you talk to the Winds when y'all were executing the search warrant?
Investigator Sparkman and I did, yes.
Were they compliant?
Yes, sir.
In terms of looking for a bike, did y'all locate one?
Yes, sir, we did.
I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibits 119 through 125. I'm going to ask you to look at State's Exhibits 119 through 125 and ask you if you recognize those.
Yes, sir, I recognize these photos.
And I apologize, I'm going to have to backtrack 2 seconds. Forgot one of my exhibits. But I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit. I need a number. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 132. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So that is a photo of Mr. Hughes' vehicle with the bike in the bed of the truck on the day of Miss Parcell's murder. And then that is just a Google image of the Buncombe and Rutherford area where the camera is placed.
Okay. State moves 132 into evidence.
No objection.
32 comes into evidence.
Now back to 210. Did y'all focus on the garage at some point?
Yes, sir, we did.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 119. Is that the garage?
Yes, sir.
You got right on it. Are these in evidence? I'm not sure.
I think
Oh.
He was getting ready to.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
The other thing.
All right.
It's 119 through 125.
119 through 125.
Defense position.
No objection.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We like a clean record.
I understand. Thank you. A lot of exhibits, it gets confusing.
Ton.
All right, I'll show you State's Exhibit 119. And you said that's the garage?
Yes, sir.
Did y'all enter inside the garage?
Yes, sir, we did.
All right. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 120. And what'd you find inside?
We found several bicycles inside the garage.
Okay. Were some bikes, well, explain the different bikes that you found inside.
So there's some bikes, as you can see to the upper left of this vehicle that's, mounted on the wall. Several on the ground as well near that vehicle that were just dirty, dusty, look like they've just been sitting in a garage for a long period of time and are not used regularly. And then to the right of that vehicle, you can see there's a bike sitting upside down on its handlebars and seat. That's a black bike that was very similar to the other two images we had. And it was pristine condition, perfectly clean.
All right, so I'm gonna show you State's Exhibits 121. What are the bikes on the left there, or in this little?
Those are just some of the other bikes, the dirtier bikes that we found in their garage.
Did those bikes look like they had been ridden?
No, sir. Some of them had cobwebs on them.
All right, and I'm gonna show you State's Exhibit 123.
Yes, sir. That is the black bike that I mentioned earlier that was sitting upside down and was just very, very clean.
When you say very, very clean, what do you mean?
So compared to everything else in this garage, it's just a dirty, dusty garage. Things sit there and collect dust and dirt. And this bike looked like it just rolled off the showroom floor.
I'll show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 133. You recognize this?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is this?
This is the bike that was seized from the garage at 200 Tyndall.
State Minutes 133 into evidence.
No objection, 133 comes in.
Now, did you do any comparison with this bike and the other photos?
Yes, sir.
And what did you conclude?
There's a lot of similarities, such as the frame of the bike, the shape of the handlebars, the placement of the brakes.
And you compared it to the photos from the ring cameras?
Yes, sir.
So, once y'all concluded the search of 200 Tyndall, what did you do next?
The Ford Ranger was taken back to the crime scene unit's office, so I responded there while a forensic technician processed the vehicle.
And then, once you concluded that search warrant, were you able to locate another location that may be important in this case?
Yes, sir.
Tell us, Drew, about that.
Through phone location, we located a residence on Indian Flats Trail in Marietta that was also owned by Jeanette Wynn.
And did y'all, in fact, go up to Indian Flats Trail?
Yes, sir, we did.
All right. And did y'all get a search warrant for that?
Yes, sir.
And when did you get that search warrant?
It was in April of 2023.
Why did it take so long?
The location data from his cell phone, we did not have his password, so the initial downloads were only partials.
So when you obtained information that Zach Hughes might have been at that location, you obtained a search warrant?
Yes, sir.
So where is Indian Flats?
It's in the northern area of Greenville County.
And so how long do you think drive-wise would it take to get there?
About an hour.
All right. So when did you go up there to serve a search warrant?
It was in April of 23, I believe April 14th, but I could be wrong on that date.
And who went with you?
Most of the homicide unit.
That's the homicide unit.
Yes, sir.
And what were you looking for?
So at this point, we still had not recovered a murder weapon or clothing that Mr. Hughes or the suspect was wearing at the time of the murder.
These are not, I don't have numbers on these. All right, Master Deputy Wolf, I'm going to show you 130, States Exhibits 134 through 139. Ask if you recognize those.
Yes, sir, I do. These are photos of the Winds residence on Indian Flat Trail.
Your state moves 134 through 139 in.
No objection.
Objection, 134 through 139.
All right, I'm going to show you States Exhibit 134. What is that?
That is the front of their residence there, and then on the tree on the right side, you can see a trail or deer camera.
Is that what you're referring to right there?
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as location or seclusion related to this house, how would you, where would you compare this house?
This is in the middle of the woods on a mountain. You could walk around naked, and there's nobody to see you.
So there's no neighbors near you?
No,
Nobody?
nobody.
Now, did y'all walk all around this house and
Yes, sir.
look at different locations? I'm going to show you States Exhibit 137. What is that?
That's a fire pit or burn pit there on their property.
I guess what you can do there is burn things.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm going to show you States Exhibit 139.
That is just one of their closets that was full of cleaning materials.
Now, did y'all search the entire house
Yes, sir, we did.
and the surrounding areas?
Yes, sir.
How deep did y'all go into the woods?
Pretty good bit.
Did y'all ever locate anything?
No, sir.
What about that trail camera?
That was seized under the search warrant, and then I obtained another search warrant for the SD card contained within it.
So what is a trail camera? Do you know?
Yes, sir. Most people just use them to take pictures of animals. Some people that hunt put them up in the woods to see, what's in that area. Most of them are motion activated.
Did you seize that trail camera?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do with it after you seized it?
I took it back to our office.
And were you able to look at any photos on the trail camera?
Yes, sir.
How do you do that?
So the camera contained an SD card. I got a separate search warrant to remove the photos or search the SD card. After that, you just plug that SD card into any SD card reader, and all the pictures are there.
And were you able to locate any photos?
You guys, I am enthralled. I'm like, my eyes are like, when they mentioned the second location, I was like, oh. And then when he's like, there can, middle of the woods, you run around naked, nobody will see you. I'm like, that is where he's got rid of evidence. Y'all.
Was on this trail camera?
Yes, sir, I was.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 140. Ask if you recognize it.
There's going to be clothes in that burn pit, and that knife is going to be found there. Guarantee it.
Yes, sir. This is the trail camera we seized from that tree.
And photos on the trail
in
cam
Marietta.
of him doing.
State Exhibit 140.
No objection.
Oh my God.
And you were able to locate some photos on that trail camera?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
What were those photos of?
Zachary Hughes.
Oh my God. Right, Morgana? There's a burn pile. The
I'm
burn
going to show you
pit.
State's Exhibits 141 through 145. Ask if you recognize those.
This prosecutor is setting the stage for the smoking gun.
Yes, sir. These are photos of Mr. Hughes that were recovered from that trail camera.
Yeah, trail cam.
State News
Right.
141 through 145.
No objection. No objection. One.
And this dude on the stand is like feeling the same. He's feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we're getting ready to go.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 145.
Where's Ween Baby?
What is that?
That's a photo of Mr. Hughes.
And what is the date of that photo?
October 11th,
About what time?
a little after 10 a.m.
Was
This
that
is 2 days
2 days
before the murder.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything significant on here?
Yes, sir. The hoodie or jacket that he is wearing is significant.
Why is that?
So you can see the outside is black. We have the individual on the bicycle riding away on a black hoodie, but you can also tell the top being folded out. The inside is a grayish color. The person who entered her house was wearing a gray jacket.
Okay, well, I've got 15 black and gray. That's all I wear is black and gray. I gotta have more than that now. Come on, come
I'm
on.
going to show you State's Exhibit 105. Is this the photo that you're referring to?
Yes, sir, it is.
And is this what is this photo?
It's a photo of a person entering her house shortly before she was killed.
And what color is the sweatshirt?
Gray.
As I sit here in a gray sweatshirt.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 141.
Anybody else in the chat wearing a gray or black sweatshirt or hoodie?
What kind of haircut does Mr. Hughes have at that time?
I don't know what you would call it.
It's a man bun.
Shaved on the side with looks like a long ponytail in the back.
I did notice, okay, on the one photo of him going into the house, or whoever was going into the front door that we saw yesterday, it looked to me like he had a ponytail. I'm just saying. And I can point that out if I need to. And I remember thinking, did he have a ponytail going on at this time? Because I've seen a picture of him in one of the concerts he's at, playing a piano, and he's got this ponytail, man bun ponytail thing going on. You know, gray and white striped long sleeve shirt. We have your alibis, Jenny, no worries. Hey, C. Morales. Hello. Cynthia said, I only have one hoodie and it's purple. Well, okay. Maybe. Michelle said, my son wears nothing but black. I mean, you guys see me just about every day. What colors do I wear? Black, gray, and like navy blue. Every once in a while, something purple or teal, but for the most part, it's black and gray. So,
What arm, what left or right arm is he carrying something?
Left.
And then States Exhibits 142. Is that
Another picture of Mr. Hughes.
another picture? And again, this is on what date?
The same day, October 11th.
And then finally, States Exhibit 144.
right, C. Morales, black, blue, and gray. That's just,
So,
I mean,
zoomed in picture of Mr. Hughes on the same day.
So that would be what Mr. Hughes looked like on October 11th of 2021.
now
Yes,
I
sir.
will say, it looks like he's very clean shaven on the face. And in the surveillance footage of him, of whoever it is on the bike, it did look like a beard. I mean, I could maybe make out a little bit of a beard here because he does have that reddish color beard. I can, I guess, see like some scruff there. And this is 2 days before the murder. Right, Cynthia, same. I'm always in black, gray, or, I mean, it is what it is. They're my comfy, don't draw attention to me colors.
Just a couple more questions, Master Deputy.
Now, dude, you better have
approximately
something
How far
more.
from that mountain house to the canebrake location would it take to drive?
I believe a little over an hour.
How many flock photos did you locate of Zach Hughes's car when you did the search?
55.
Right. And of all those photos, how many did you find his car with a bike in the back?
Just one.
And what date was that?
October 13th of 2021.
Thank you. Answer any questions, defense counsel.
Wait, what was the
Yes, sir.
last question he just asked him? I missed it because I was looking at y'all talking about pajamas.
And the
What
photo-
was the last question he asked?
I believe a little over an hour.
Okay, I heard that one.
How many flock photos did you locate of Zach Hughes's car when you did the search?
55.
Right. And of all those photos, how many did you find his car with a bike in the back?
Just one.
And what date was that?
October 13th of 2021.
Wow.
Thank you. Answer any questions the defense counsel may have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was hoping you would have more. Like, did y'all search the burn pit? Was anything in the burn pit? You talked about the closet full of cleaners, but anything else? I was waiting on you to show me a daggone photo of him flipping black and gray clothes of his in the fire pit and setting it on fire. And the knife. That's what I thought was going to happen. That was a letdown. I'm let down. Big time.
Deputy Wolf, you testified that one of the reasons why you thought that the other bikes in the Wynn garage had not been ridden was you saw cobwebs on them, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't see any cobwebs on this bike. Have you been riding this bike?
No.
Did you ride this bike over from the P&E?
No, sir.
He's going to be a smart A55.
You talked about cleaning supplies. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
House.
Do you have cleaning supplies in your house?
Yes, sir.
Do you have them in a closet?
In a closet under sinks.
You talked about, based on your investigation, you realized that John Mello was in Italy. Isn't it true he was in Italy and with Aida from October of 2020 until April of 2021? Isn't that true?
And to the best of my knowledge, yes, sir.
You said a word, I want to make sure I understand. You said that you could be at the Wynn Mountain House and you could be what and nobody could see you?
You could walk around naked.
Okay. Talked about, can I see your holes in the middle before you go? Let me show you State's Exhibit 144. Take a look at this.
Yes, sir.
Deputy Wolf, isn't it true in 144, that picture shows a person who's clean shaven?
It's hard to tell. There's a bit of a shadow in the net.
Can you see a beard on that man?
No.
Okay.
True. I'm feeling him. He's trying to say that
When you went to 200,
the amount, like I pointed out a minute ago, you can see a bit of a shadow. I don't know how, it's hard to tell. And the dude that was on the bicycle, when you could see the beard behind the mask, looked to be quite a bit darker, which to me would mean more hair. And he's getting at, can you grow that much hair in 2 days' time on your face?
Tyndall, to execute that search warrant, did you go by yourself?
No, sir.
Okay. There were numerous police officers on scene, isn't that right?
Yes.
Right. And some of those police officers were armed, is that right?
They're police officers. Everyone's armed.
Right. And you talked about how the winds complied that day, isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true my client, Mr. Hughes, complied, didn't he, that day?
Yes, sir. Did.
So you testified in 2021 you were working in homicide, is that correct?
I was up there for a brief period of time to assist them. Yes, sir.
And you said you're back on the road now in Bravo Platoon?
Yes, sir.
Are you a supervisor in Bravo Platoon?
I'm a master deputy. I have several deputy twos that work under me. I supervise, yes.
Okay. And is there a sergeant over that platoon as well?
There is.
Okay. So how long, so I need to be clear, though, were you ever assigned to homicide?
Yes,
How long were you there?
3 years.
And now you're back on the road, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You heard, were you in this courtroom when Deputy Riley Stokes testified?
Yes, sir.
And you heard his testimony about the videos that were obtained from residences in Canebrake, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true, and I want to say it's 8:45 or 9 o'clock, something like that. Well, let me ask this. Do you recall when he said the first video was that was significant? The first time he saw any vehicle tracker in him?
I remember him talking about that, but I don't remember the time frame of that video.
Isn't it true, though, that one second. I don't have anything else.
Okay, any redirect?
What was the date of that photo that he showed you regarding the beard that Mr. Mormon showed you?
October 11th of 2021.
2 days before the murder?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And, Your Honor, just recross. You just testified on my cross-examination that you did not see a beard in that photo. Is that correct?
You can just see a shadow on his face. That's
Okay,
it.
this is my question to you. Did you not just testify that you couldn't see a beard in that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
You may step down. Next witness.
State will recall Kalen Ford.
Recall. Ooh, is that the chick from earlier today?
Okay, with the room, it's not.
Yep, same chick from earlier today. Okay, okay.
Still under oath.
Ms. Ford, hello again.
Hello.
We've gone through your background for the jury, but were you still involved in this case at the time that the home on Tyndall was being processed by law enforcement?
Yes.
So when you were involved, were you doing essentially the same procedure, same duties as you were at the Canebrake home?
Yes.
Okay. And were you tasked of going through the Tyndall home and taking photographs of that home?
I was.
Were you able to identify the rooms of the house?
Yes.
Were you able to identify which room was the defendant's room?
Yes.
How?
The homeowner stated it, and he had personal belongings in that room that were observed as well.
Okay. If I showed you pictures that you took in that room, would you recognize them?
Yes.
State's Exhibit. Showing you what is State's Exhibits 126 through 131.
Yes, I took these photographs.
Yeah, this time the state would move into evidence, State's Exhibit 126 through 131.
No objection,
No objection, 126 through 131.
No. I'm just going to go through these with you up here. What is 126?
So this is a photograph of a shoebox that had been located inside of his bedroom that contained multiple knives and sheets.
Ooh, okay.
127?
It's a photograph from his bedroom. There was a storage bin that had the name Zach on the top.
How is that spelled, Zach?
ZACK.
$129.
This photograph shows a backpack and a pair of gloves, along with other miscellaneous items in the bedroom.
If they find a white N95 mask, that's it. And a beanie.
Ms. Ford, were you involved at all with the processing of the bicycle that was recovered at the Tyndall address?
Yes.
And how specifically were you involved in the processing of that bicycle?
Once the bicycle was located in the garage, I photographed it. I then sprayed the bicycle with Blue Star and took swabs of different areas of the bike before it was actually collected.
What is Blue Star?
Blue Star is a presumptive reagent, a chemical reaction that can show the presence of blood.
Are there any significant findings as a result of spraying the Blue Star?
The bike illuminated on the handles, the seat, and the pedals.
Okay. What did you do thereafter as far as processing the bike?
I then took swabs from those 3 separate areas that glowed.
Did you take swabs of the handlebars of the bike?
I did.
If I showed you those swabs, would you recognize them?
Yes.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 98 and 99. Are those the swabs you used for the handlebars of the bike?
Yes.
Are those your initials on each?
Yes.
Is one for the left handlebar, one for the right?
Yes, 98 is from the right handlebar and 99 is from the left.
After you collected these swabs, what did you do with them?
They were submitted into evidence.
Ms. Ford, were you involved at all with the collection of evidence as it relates to the defendant himself?
Yes.
How exactly?
I took photographs of him and I also collected his buccal swabs.
If I showed you the buccal swabs you took from the defendant, would you recognize them?
Yes.
I don't know what I'll do if they say that the DNA was what do they say? If they can't get an actual DNA match, what do they
I'm
call
going to show you
it?
what's marked as State's Exhibit 100. Can you identify what I just handed you?
Yes, it is the buccal swab from Zachary Hughes.
Did you take several?
Yes.
Or actually, did you take two?
Yes.
Okay. Is that typical?
Yes.
After you collected these buccal swabs, what did you do with them?
They were submitted into evidence.
Ms. Ford, were you still involved in this case when John Mello returned back from Italy?
I was.
How were you involved, specifically oriented towards Mr. Mello?
So I responded to the Greenville County Detention Center where he was being held at the time. I took photographs of him and I collected his buccal swabs as well.
Thank you, Henny. Yeah, guys, don't forget to put your thumbs up.
One moment, Your Honor. I'm trying to find just this.
I'm really eager to hear that was her blood on that bicycle.
Oh.
And I'm eager to see his photographs to see if he has any scratches or cuts on him. I'm gonna have to put my house shoes
Show you
on.
what's marked in State's Exhibit 101.
These are the buccal swabs that I collected from John Mello.
And there's two of them.
Yes.
What did you do after collecting State's Exhibit 101?
Those were also submitted to evidence.
Ms. Ford, I have no further questions for you.
Your Honor, we have no questions for this witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison Miller, right?
Of course you have no questions for that witness. Why would you? Why would you?
Please place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you. Please be seated.
Oh,
Please state
she's
your name for the
pretty.
Sergeant Allison Wright.
Ms. Wright, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with Greenville County Forensics.
How long have you been with them?
A little over 7 years.
So were you employed with them in 2021?
Yes, I was.
And what is your specific, in 2021, what was your specific role with the Sheriff's Office?
So I was with Greenville County Forensics. I was a field training officer.
And could you explain a little bit about what your roles and duties were in that?
As a field training officer, I went out on calls with some of the newer employees and helped train them. And then I trained the newer employees as they came in.
So that involve evidence collection and documentation?
Yes.
Okay. How are you involved in the present case?
I was requested to process the subject's vehicle.
Okay. Is that a 1999 Gold Ford Ranger?
Yes, it is.
Did that include taking photographs of that vehicle?
Yes, I photographed the vehicle.
Okay. When you're processing this truck, what other things are you doing in going through it?
We first photographed the vehicle and then we searched it, or I apologize. We photographed the vehicle and then collected DNA swabs. We did the door handles, the tailgate handle, steering wheel, typical places that you would normally touch. And then after that, we searched it to see if there was anything of evidentiary value. And then at the end, we used Blue Star to search for or detect possible blood.
Now, was there any significant findings as a result of the use of the Blue Star?
We did have a few areas that illuminated.
And you say illuminated. Can you describe a little bit more as to what that indicates to you when you're going through and using Blue Star?
So Blue Star is used to detect blood. It shows the possible presence of blood. So when we spray it, we have a dark room. We'll spray the area, and if it illuminates, it'll illuminate like a blue color. That will indicate that there's possibly blood there.
Okay. And then subsequently is when you do DNA collection?
So I swabbed for DNA on multiple items beforehand, but then if it does illuminate, I will also either swab or collect the item.
Understood.
Hey, Ween baby, there you are. Did you see, I don't know how long you've been here, but did you see that they found blood on the handlebars of the bike and on the pedals and on the brake? I think the brake, or no, wait, the seat. They found blood on the handlebars, the seat, and the pedals of the bike that they found in the back of his truck. Yes, they did. Now, they haven't said whose it is yet, but I'm assuming that it was hers, allegedly, but we're waiting for that. Explain that away, balding lawyer. Well, what happened?
Through 163.
No objection.
Without objection, states 146 to 157 and 159 to 163.
Showing you states 147.
Okay, I think that's what we were waiting on. Hold on.
Vehicle.
Is that a 1999 gold Ford Ranger?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I saw that part already. Sorry, guys.
$157 and $159 to $163. Do you recognize? Let me know if you recognize those photos as what you observed that day.
I hated that movie, Michelle. Hated that movie. But I agree.
Yes, I took the photos that were in our vehicle bay.
Your Honor, this time the state moves into evidence states 146 to 157 and 159 through 163.
No objection.
Without objection, states 146 to 157 and 159 to 163.
Showing you states 147. What is that?
That is the vehicle at the incident location that technician Ford photographed.
Showing you 151. What is 151?
That is the insurance card found in the vehicle.
Show you 152.
That is showing the truck bed of the vehicle at our vehicle processing bay.
You explain, why do you bring the car back to a different location to process it?
We bring it back to a different location in order to have a secured location where we can take our time on processing it.
It kind of looked like a drop of blood over the
Show you
wheel
states
well.
154.
I could
What
be
is that
wrong
display?
This is a picture of a gas can and ropes that were inside the toolbox in the bed of the truck.
Show you 159. What is that?
Those are the items that were found behind the front seats, and there's a pair of gloves in there.
Okay, B Lola.
I'll show you 160.
Crack me up.
What is 160?
That was a pack of gloves that was located behind the seats in the vehicle.
And just going back to 160, how many pairs of gloves does it say are in that pack?
It says there are 6 pairs.
I'll show you 161. There's 6 pairs of gloves in that?
No, there were 5 pairs located.
And then finally, 163.
That's showing the bed of the truck and the toolbox that was in the bed of the truck.
We'll talk just a little bit more about Blue Star. Is blood the only thing that Blue Star might use a hit on?
No, there are some additional false positives that Blue Star can illuminate on.
What are some things that it could give a positive on?
Cleaning supplies are one, as well as bleach is a big one. Some plants can actually illuminate as well, or different paints and tarnish.
That's right, I have no further questions for you. Thank you so much.
Cross-examination.
Is he gonna
I got
have?
no questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Down, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our afternoon break. I will ask you again to not discuss this case among yourselves.
Ween
And
baby.
we will see you back in probably about 15 minutes. Okay? Thank you all.
You're so funny. You're so funny. Funny, 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 funny. All right, let's scooch on by. We are in real time. Real time. I don't know, but Michelle said to have that much blood on the bike, he had to be covered. So here's my thing. The guy that was on there earlier, the cop dude, said that that bike looked like it was sparkling clean. He said it looked like it had just come off the showroom floor. So, in my opinion, he cleaned the crap off that bike, the bike up like really, really good, but missed a few spots, obviously, if they found blood. So, I still want to know what that overwhelming chemical smell was in their house, the victim's house. Like, I would love to know what that was. Right. Ween Baby said he's a man. They can't clean right. True. That's true. I'm not sure. I'm wondering if they, found any blood inside the truck or on the outside or in the, I mean, there would have had to have been blood in the back of the truck where the bike was at, And that 6-pack of gloves missing a set of gloves, that's not strange at all. I mean, they're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. Hey, Tanika. Good to see you, darling. Darling, how are you? Well, P. Lola, it was about a year and a half later after the, like, you know, shutdown and all that. This was in October of 2021. So, yeah, it was still a thing, but it wasn't, you know, as glovey and masky and all the things. Stop it, P. Lola. Oh, yeah, Tanika, the sister, testified. The sister testified. And they have pretty much confirmed that the bicycle was in the back of his truck, which we already knew that. They haven't, I don't know if you could actually say that they confirmed it's the same one that the dude was riding past the house, but I mean, you know, we have the bicycle, there is blood, they said. They have blood on the bicycle in 3 different locations. They said on the handlebars, the bicycle seat, and the pedals, which would make sense, right? They haven't confirmed whose blood yet. They said that they swabbed, but the DNA chick hasn't come on there yet to say whose it belongs to yet. So yeah, we're still waiting on some of that to come on out. Come on down. Tanika said this case is so crazy. GRI reported that the defendant has more people supporting in court than the victim. That's true. I did hear that. And when the camera panned over the gallery earlier, I noticed it didn't show her, like, the prosecution side of the gallery, but there were a lot of people on the defense side of the gallery. So my hands and feet are freezing right now. I'm cold. Brr. The sister was odd, said P. Lola. Oh, and we did find out too that the scantily clad photos of her that was sent all over everywhere were from about 2010, 2011. So it's not like they were even new photos. We did find that out. The sister verified that information. They are, P. Lola. Yeah. His DNA was under her fingernails. Yes. I think so too, Miss King. It's because of what the victim and the boyfriend are accused of. Why nobody's there. That's why people are on his side. Oh, did you see the judge's eyeballs? They look big around as silver dollars. They were huge. His eyes were like... They're going to have to hurry up and start back because I need to take a quick Wait until the jury finds out after the trial. I know, Tanika, right? Ugh. There are 3 trials that are like that. Like this one, right? With the Pedialyte stuff is what Kathy calls it. Cracks me up, Pedialyte. And wait till the jury finds out about that after the trial, right? Second of all, so our second trial that was like that is that Colin Griffith case that just ended. You know, the jury finding out that it was actually the dad that he had also murdered a year before. And then another trial where I'm wondering if the jury is like, well, I wish we'd have had that information, is Delphi. About the Odinism stuff. And Ron Logan and all that jazz. Margaret says, I'm sitting in our large restaurant at my job. Why do you have a large restaurant at your job? Margaret, what? Or are you trying to say that you have a very large break room? I'm confused. Oh, and Michelle, if you're still here and listening, I did hear that there are rumblings from other people that the couple idea thought that you had about him and
Thank you, Your
Miller.
Honor. State calls Vanessa Cormala.
You're not the only person that's wondering about that. There are other people that are wondering if him and Mello were schmello.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do, thank you.
Pizza station, sushi sandwich, you name it. Oh, wow.
Please state your name for the record.
Vanessa Cormalo, Kormylo.
Okay, she's cute.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you
Hi,
please tell the jury a little bit about what you do for a living?
I'm a practicing family law attorney, mostly in Greenville County. I've been practicing 28 years, predominantly in family law. Handle some closings, but mostly family law, representing litigants, and also representing children in court when I serve as guardian ad litem.
So she was the guardian ad
Guardian
litem.
ad litem.
That is an advocate for the child who's appointed in family court cases when there are issues involving the children, such as visitation issues or custody issues. A guardian's appointed. It's typically an attorney, but sometimes we have some non-attorneys that are awesome. And so that's just part of our system. When a case involves a child, we do an investigation. We're kind of an arm of the court, and we report back our findings to the judge.
And how are you involved in this case, the state against Zachary Hughes?
In the case against Zachary Hughes, I came into a little bit of this.
Oh, good question. Good question. You don't want to wake up one day and become a full-blown, what she just said. Who else was involved? They interview the daughter. So, wait, who are you thinking is a kitty Pedialyte? They have not interviewed the daughter as of yet in court. I mean, they haven't talked about that, but the guardian ad litem here, maybe that's what she might be getting ready to go into. Michelle said, I am here. I called it first. Cute, cute, cute. Oh, the victim. Okay. Yeah, well, the only other person that we know of so far that was involved in that is the boyfriend, her boyfriend. Yeah, that's all we know of so far. But I, the mellow guy, I don't know. I don't know. The dad, from what I know or have heard so far, is that he was like, you know, mm-mm. He was saying that he thought stuff was going on in the mom's house and he wanted it, so to quit, and he was trying to call out the abuse and stuff. He felt like there was abuse going on. And sure enough, it was, right? Yeah, I wonder, will we hear from the mellow guy? I wonder, will we? I don't know.
Case because I was the guardian ad litem for the child of the mother who was murdered.
Of Christina Parcell
Yes.
and John Mello?
Yes.
Okay. When were you appointed the guardian?
Oh, thank you, C. Morales. New member. Hello and welcome to the memberships. Hold on. You deserve a little sparkle. You need some sparkle in your life, baby. Here we go. I appreciate that. Welcome to the club. Welcome. And thank you for joining. I appreciate that. Ween Baby says the ex-husband, they might not let him testify because he will blow the CP thing wide open. I mean, I know, right? But how else? I mean, they're gonna have. I would think that he would have to testify, right? I like it too. It's really pretty. Tanika's having trouble with her keyboard. Mellow might not be so mellow, right? I know.
Ad litem of Ida Mello.
I'm gonna let her testimony go on, but she's cute as a button. Her cute little blonde bob, her cute little pearl earrings, and that jacket. Good Lord, the buttons on that thing look like they're that big around. They take up the whole middle part of her face. Look how big that black button is underneath that collar part of that jacket. It's huge. All right, I gotta go use the potty, and I didn't get any lunch earlier during the lunch break, so I'm gonna grab a quick little something. But I'll be right back.
In October of 2020.
How old was Ida when you were appointed?
I believe she was 8.
So, getting a little bit into this, as guardian ad litem, are you responsible for communicating
No apologies, Tanika. Never, never, never.
with the father and the mother of the child?
Yes, I typically start with the parents, the parties. We talk to third parties, go visit the child at the school, of course, talk to the child a good bit. And then by the time we get to court, I would have investigated and talked to way more people, and I prepare a written report before the trial.
So in October of 2020, where was Ida Mello?
She was in Italy.
Okay. So, were you able to contact her while she was over there?
I had her father's email address, and Mr. Mello and I would email back and forth. He did not necessarily cooperate in allowing me to speak with him or the child. There was one time I was going to get to speak with her, he wanted to script my questions, and I didn't want to put her in an uncomfortable position, so I waited to meet her until she came back.
So I think you touched on it, but by what method would you communicate with Mr. Mello?
Email only.
Okay. Was Ida Mello ever eventually returned to the United States?
Yes, in April of 2021, the Hague Convention, the international body that helps enforce different custody rulings, ordered that Aida return to South Carolina, and then the mother was awarded custody here by agreement.
Okay. So, once Ada had returned to South Carolina, what developed as far as that custody dynamic, specifically with regard to your role?
So the parents were in contested custody litigation. The mother wanted Aida to stay here, of course, with her. Mr. Mello was in Italy, and I think there were some criminal charges that he was working through before he could return here. So they were just in what I would consider very highly contested litigation. Mr. Mello regularly emailed me, and he was a very difficult litigant to manage.
So speaking to this particular dispute, was this the first time, but let me back up. Was it your role upon being appointed guardian ad litem to investigate a little bit into the history between the custody dynamic?
Yes, typically I'll speak to the prior guardian ad litem if there was an older case. In this case, sadly, the parents had been fighting since Aida was 3. So there were several cases, Greenville County and Pickens, and I was able to talk to the prior guardian ad litem and increasingly grew concerned about Mr. Mello.
So you said you communicated with Mr. Mello through email. Was that primarily the method of communication, or like the only method of communication?
It was the only method of communication except one phone call I had with him.
Okay. So over the course of your role as guardian ad litem, approximately how many emails did you exchange with Mr. Mello?
I don't even know if I could count them. I know when we printed them for the family court trial, I think it was 3 or 4 reams of paper.
So also in the course of once Aida returns from Italy, did Mr. Mello continue to communicate with you?
Yes, he was continuing to communicate, harass, threaten, intimidate, bully. His communications were unlike anything I've ever encountered as a guardian, and so they continued to escalate, and I was pretty concerned.
So not getting into the specifics of maybe some of the things that he messaged you, but what kind of, when you say threats and harassment, what kinds of things was he conveying to you?
He would tell me that I always needed to be looking over my shoulder, that he was coming after my license, that I was going to get arrested for criminal charges or civil charges, that I was definitely going to jail. He mentioned my children to me by name with specific information about them at one visitation I had with him. He put terrible things on the internet about me, including my office address and phone number. He actually included my husband in his posts. He said awful things, that we were trafficking children, Ukrainian children through Spartanburg. That's like on the internet. It was Facebook and Reddit, and at one point he had said I was manufacturing child pornography in my law office and put my address and my phone number right there. So he was definitely fired up.
And once you assumed this role and this line of communication began, did you receive similar types of emails from, let's say, third parties?
Yes, I would start receiving emails early on, not just from Mr. Mello, but from other people on his behalf, multiple different, one was an attorney, one was a private investigator, allegedly, one was a saint, One was, they were just multiple people that would email me from different addresses with very similar threats and characterizations of me and the litigation. And they would definitely be arguing on behalf of Mr. Mello.
Would you attempt to follow up with these individuals when they reached out to you?
Yes, I would typically try and return an email, try and find out who the sender was, try and verify if they were real. We had suspicions that many of them were Mr. Mello himself because of the way the emails were worded. He used a lot of the same phrasing. He writes in a very unusual manner using capitals at different times and has absolutely terrible spelling. So we could see a lot of similarities in these third-party emails, which caused us to believe they were likely him. And then, like for instance, if an attorney emailed me and I couldn't find that attorney anywhere, or a private investigator emailed me and I never could find that private investigator, I really was left with the only conclusion that it was likely Mr. Mello.
So going into October, or let me back up a little bit. So as this developed, with you in the role as guardian ad litem, what findings did you make as to the lengths that Mr. Mello would go to get custody back of Ida?
He was very clear that there was nothing off limits. He was, like I said, threatening, harassing, intimidating, and he was consistently doing it, these hundreds and hundreds of emails. Sometimes he was represented by attorneys, sometimes he was not, and this was the worst case I've ever worked on as far as representing a child's interest, but at the same time having a parent act like that. It came to the point, even early on, I think in May of 2021, I brought a motion to the court as the child's guardian asking for a psychological evaluation of him and asking that the mother be allowed.
She's like, I want him to be checked out because there's something wrong with him. He does not sound very mellow. You're right. Oh my God. Okay, I have a sandwich. I'm going to eat this sandwich and I'm going to enjoy every bite. I am so hungry. Okay, back to it.
To end phone calls if the child was uncomfortable.
While you were guardian ad litem, did you ever receive some, let's just say, suspect envelopes in the mail?
Yes.
If I showed you that envelope, would you recognize it?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's marked as State's Exhibit 158. Is that the envelope or a envelope you received?
Yes. This is addressed to me at my office on Washington Street. It is dated July 8th of 2021 and it came from Knoxville, Tennessee. Per the mail carrier, the return address references a P.O. box here in Greenville, which we later learned belonged to Brad Post.
You said Knoxville, Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the date that it was postmarked?
July, and I think it was 2021.
Okay. July 8th, sound right?
Yes, sorry.
That's all right. Not getting into the specifics, and I realize it's unpleasant, but generally, what were the contents of this envelope?
They involved pictures of Christina Parcell in various states of undress. One included a male anatomy body part in one of the pictures. They were basically pornographic in nature.
And what did you do after receiving this envelope?
I called law enforcement.
Okay. Did you submit it to them, to your knowledge?
I did.
Okay. Was that the only envelope you received?
No.
Do you know, when did you receive another?
I think it was about a month later. We received another envelope from Knoxville, Tennessee, with the same PO box return address. So this time we actually just called law enforcement to come get the envelope rather than opening it.
And in the context of what you've testified to, would sending something like this be in line with John Mello's actions in the custody dispute?
Yes, this would be in line with also what he emailed, how he conducted himself. He was determined to discredit and disparage and ruin the reputation and character of the mother. He was in a custody battle, so he was determined for her to be thought of in a certain light and hopefully be determined to be unfit.
So at the time you received these, let's say in July and August of 2021, what is the posture of the custody dispute?
We were just moving right along. I think I had the motion for him to have a psychological evaluation. The mother had custody at that time. Of course, even though I had reason to be concerned about Mr. Mello and how he conducted himself, I also had a duty to investigate the allegations he was making against the mother. And I did that to the best of my ability. I've never done this before, but I actually hired a private investigator to look into things for me. I tried to find out if there was anything true about the allegations he was making, because this little girl was in that woman's home. And her interests were my duty. So I tried my best to interview people, research, work with the private investigator, and that my duty is ongoing and through the end of the trial. So that's what I had to do. Of course, I talked to the mother about the pictures and determined they were very old and in a consensual setting. So I did look into these things. I didn't just write them off because he was, so unstable.
You mentioned accusations that John Mello would make. Would he accuse Ms. Parcell of using drugs?
He did. That was a large part of his concern about her. So at least as guardians, we can investigate that fairly easily. We asked her to take I think even more drug screens to see if she was actually using drugs. And since she was living with her sister at the time, we asked her to be drug screened. They were in the same home with the child. I think at one point the child was even drug tested in a corresponding case. So we did investigate that. We found no evidence of any drug use in the testing. And the private investigator also did not see any type of dealing in and out of the home.
Had you been asked to make the recommendation, would you have recommended Aida to stay with Christina Parcell?
Yes. So in family court, we're actually not allowed to make recommendations to the court unless we're asked by a judge. And I know you just asked me, but yes, my position was in visiting her in school and talking to her teacher. She was thriving here. She was doing so well in her mother's custody, living with her aunt. They had Taco Tuesdays, and anyway, she loved sushi and avocado, and she was just living a very full life. When I visited, she was riding bikes with the neighbor kids, making friendships, and doing so well. So at the time, yes, that would have been my recommendation if we had gone to trial before the mother's murder.
So at the time of the murder, would John Mello have been aware of any reports or recommendations that would have been negatively oriented towards him?
He would definitely have been aware of my motion to have him psychologically evaluated.
Okay, I I just gotta stop for just a second and be like, okay, now wait a minute. If that kind of stuff is going on in the house, would they be well adjusted? You know what I'm saying? I don't, I'm confused. I mean, I guess to some people they said that Maddie Soto seemed well adjusted, but also she wasn't.
He would be aware of my concerns about him through our hundreds, if not thousands, of emails back and forth. I don't hold back when I'm the guardian, so if he's making allegations and I'm asking him, please substantiate these. If you're going to accuse the mother of this, please give me substantiation and I will investigate this. If he says neighbors are watching something, please give me the neighbors' names. I have the ability as guardian to bring a motion before the court to have her removed if the court has substantiation of the concerns. And he would just play games and tell me he couldn't give me the names of the witnesses he knew about because he needed to save them when he sued me in civil litigation. And so he was very aware that I was not a fan of how he conducted himself. If you're worried about a child enough to make substantial allegations, and this guardian is appointed only for her interests, please work with me. Even if we had differences, set them aside, help me help your child. And he was definitely not cooperative.
So, before the murder on October 13th, 2021, when was the last time that Mr. Mello saw Ida?
Prior to the murder?
Prior to the murder.
He would have seen her last in Italy when Christina, the mother, flew over to get her per the Hague order and fly her home. So I think he had seen her there in Italy. To my knowledge, he had not returned to our country until after the murder.
So that would have been April of 2021?
Yes.
Is there any significance in the time span from April to October of 2021 with regard to the custody dispute and the positioning of the parties?
Well, in family court, we really look at how often you see your child. Are you supporting your child financially? And we have a mechanism in family court statutory that says if you don't visit your child willfully for 6 months, and if you don't pay child support for your child for a period of 6 months, your rights can actually be terminated if the court determines that's in the child's best interests. So a lot of parents are pretty sensitive to the 6-month mark.
In October was that 6-month mark? Is that correct?
That would be right.
Do you know who the defendant is?
I'm familiar with his face, yes. I don't think I've ever met him in person.
Let's say prior to October 13th of 2021, did you know who he was?
So when you're a guardian ad litem, both parents give you lists of character witnesses they would like you to interview in relation to their case. And so the first time I saw Mr. Hughes' name would have been May of 2021. And I received that through Mr. Mello's attorney at the time, as he was on a list of character witnesses to interview, for me to interview on behalf of Mr. Mello.
Did he take any actions with regard to the custody situation? I'm speaking of Mr. Hughes. Did he take any actions with regard to the custody situation after the murder?
After the murder, I'm not sure of.
Okay.
Before the murder, he prepared an affidavit
Okay.
to support Mr. Mello regaining custody of his daughter. And he also worked with local attorneys helping Mr. Mello procure representation and in that line.
I'm going to show you what is State's Exhibit 164. Showing you State's Exhibit 164.
Yes, this is the affidavit he prepared for court. He prepared it in September of 2021, September 21st, which we thought was unusual because there was nothing pending at that particular time. And then in October after the murder, we were in court for a hearing about where Aida would live after her mom was murdered, and this affidavit was used in that motion.
Your Honor, this time, the state would move into evidence State's Exhibit 164.
No objection.
Exhibit 64 comes in.
Thank you, Judge. So I want to clarify this timeline here. So in September of 2021, what purpose would this affidavit have in the custody dispute? Or was there a place for this affidavit in the custody dispute to be needed?
Okay, so in family court, trials involve live testimony like today. Hearings involve affidavits, which are just sworn statements, that are notarized. So we prepare them in relation to motions that we file. To my knowledge, there was no motion pending at the time that affidavit was prepared.
Okay. And this was filed October 22nd of 2021.
Right. And at that time, of course, after the murder, we all kind of filed what we could, because you have a mother who's been murdered, a child who doesn't have her mom, and her dad's in Italy. And so her placement in custody was in question.
So it's only 9 days after the murder that this is filed.
Correct. And we were back in court dealing with Aida's placement at that time.
I want to go back briefly. Speaking of these emails you received from third parties, what were some of those parties, or those individuals, purported individuals, that you could recall?
There was an attorney named Sophia Carlucci. There was an investigator. The email said Mullins Investigations. There was a saint. I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember. It was a saint somebody. There was a guy who wrote me as a biker dude with a particular experience he wanted to share with me. And then there was a Mitch Rubin. I don't know what profession he was, but he actually emailed one of our judges in our case, and that's not acceptable.
So, specifically, you said Mullen Investigations. You received emails from this
Yes.
entity? Did you try to identify who that was?
Sure. I searched on the internet, tried to find any investigations, any investigator named Mullins, company named Mullins Investigations.
Any success there?
I could not find them.
Okay. Was Sophia Carlucci one of these individuals that reached out to you?
Yes, she was very involved with helping Mr. Mello.
And on looking at these emails that you received specifically from Sophia Carlucci, did you notice anything peculiar about any of those emails that helped identify who might have sent them?
Sure. As attorneys, we kind of have a bad rap, but we try to actually be civil toward one another for the most part. She was not civil in any way. She's never met me. She's writing these hateful communications, very insulting, very similar to Mr. Miller's tone. And a lot of times some of the phraseology would be identical to how Mr. Mello would address me and email me. I tried, and sometimes I would try to see if the sheriff's office could help with tracking the emails, but if they were from proton.com or there were other ways we could never really seem to trace them, and I'm not really good at that computer forensic stuff, but I could never find the source of the emails. But my suspicion was a lot of them seemed to talk a lot like Mr. Mello.
Did he ever mistakenly send an email from
Yes, there was an email one time from from John, I think, in Sophia Carlucci's email. So it's like he was emailing me, but he used Sophia Carlucci's name and information.
Thank you. I have no further questions for you.
All right, cross-exam.
Let's see how this goes. He's like, may we approach? I think, you know what I think? I think he's going to be like, this defense is going to be like, I feel like the state and this witness just cracked the door open. May I kick it the rest of the way open, please? And thank you. Look at how many people are over there on his side. Look at that. Mind blowing.
I'm going to ask you to step out. I have a matter I need to take up with the attorneys.
I knew it. I knew it. They're talking about it too. They're talking about it too. They're like, ooh, they're going to let this come in. They're going to let this come in. Yeah, I think so, Donnie. I think that's what they're, because I kept thinking to myself, they're getting awful close here to accusation. I don't know if it's coming in, Tanika, but I feel like the defense is getting ready to argue that the prosecution just opened the door to the CSAM. That's what I feel like. I could be wrong. I could be way off. Maybe it's just kind of wishful thinking, maybe on my part. I don't know. But I agree with you guys who were saying, oh, they're, the sister and this witness are making the mom seem like sweet as apple pie. When in reality, there's evidence to prove otherwise. C. Morales says, I think they did open the door. What child? What child? Hi. Hi. Tanika said they just made their victim highly unlikable if that comes in. Not sure I could let that go as a juror. I know, but I'm telling you, I think that's what they're arguing about right now. And there was some hubbub about it in the gallery and whispering on the prosecution side in the gallery too. And I'm thinking, Donnie said, Michelle, I woke up to her voice and thought I switched to The Simpsons. I was a little discombobulated. Hmm. I do too, Tanika. She's my best friend. Why did the judge just get up and walk off the bench? Hey, Toxic, good to see you. How are you? How are you? Okay, I'm gonna have to go. Let me see. Let me see. Let me go over to the Twitters. Y'all know how we roll right now, anyway. Let's go to the Twitters. Ba-ba-ba-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. Okay, nothing. I'm not seeing any testimony. Or not testimony, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing any updates on Twitter. Mm. Ooh, wait, 33 minutes ago, Pretty Lies and Alibis. Oh, oh, boop, 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 boop. 33 minutes ago, Pretty Lies and Alibis tweeted and says, Guardian ad litem on the stand, jury sent out. She said before the killing, she would have recommended Christina have custody. Defense says the door is open now to discuss the CSAM and what would she recommend with what she learned after the killing. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Mm. Mm. 8 minutes ago. Um. Hold on. 8 minutes ago, Gigi says it is true. We're waiting to see if the judge lets it in. So he must have gone off the bench to go really think about this because, oh my God, this is huge. Huge. Oh my God, I think my blood pressure just jumped 50 million points. Oh my God. Wow. Hold on. Wait. Tanika, she's in court, right? Gigi is, yes. Or she's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure she is. I'm almost positive. Um, me see. Let me catch up in the chat here. Gail says you're right, P. Lola's mom, but state opened the door with their line of questioning. I mean, I kind of felt like that was going to happen. There was a few times when I was like, this woman is just going to accidentally blurt something out she's not supposed to say. And things are going to go sideways. And this judge was probably sitting up there squeezing his butt cheeks together as hard as he could, trying to hold on to his seat, waiting. Like, oh, God, you know? P. Lola says, I think it's maybe good for the defendant. I still think it was a murder for hire, and this SA stuff was told by the ex to the defendant, and he ran with it. I don't know. Judge could be making phone calls. Donnie said, while we are on hold, does anyone have a good creator that has the Delphi pre-trial? I mean, you're not going to find anything like courtroom wise, because Judge Gull has kept everything under lock and key. But what, honey? Oh, hold on just a second. Sorry, kiddo has misplaced her cup. So she's looking for it. Um... Kick down the door with thigh-high leather stiletto boots on. Oh, gosh, right? I just heard Dale say, how do you lose a whole friggin' cup? It's easy in this house. It's easy to do. Oh, yeah, Michelle swears by the True Crime Garage podcast. I haven't heard of them, and you're going to be hard-pressed, Donnie, the only reason I keep, like, not ignoring that question, but letting other people answer it, is because just about every channel that I have found that talks about Delphi is leans one way or the other. I have really not found any content that I feel like is just straight up given facts and that's it. I mean, even over here, when we've talked about it, we've been more pro Richard Allen than not. But that's only because of the whole what do you call it? Odinism stuff, and the fact that I don't know. I have the same sort of feeling about that as I do Karen Reed about, cover ups and stuff. So, trying to understand the names and the players. Gotcha. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of players in that case. A lot. Okay, come on. You guys are killing me here. Let me go check back on X again. What, baby? No cup? Oh, doggone it. You'll find it. Yeah, here it says John Mello was terrible to work with, harassed her, etc. We are taking a break for the judge to think about it. And I haven't seen an update. I don't know. 6 minutes ago, Gigi said Judge still isn't back yet. So, that was 6 minutes ago. Gigi says a while ago, 38 minutes ago, she said, really good point. It's very one-sided testimony that may be valid, but there's a whole elephant in the room, and she would have placed the kid with her dad with no hesitation if she knew what we all know about what Christina was doing to her daughter. And you all in the chat said it too, Same thing. I mean, it's kind of like if you're going to make her look good in a good light, then it's only fair for them to make her not look, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You guys know what my words have not been working lately. I'm telling you. Oh, judge is coming back in, she said 15 seconds ago. Now, here's the stinking thing. We're on a 30-minute delay. So if Gigi just says 15 seconds, the judge is coming back in 15 seconds ago. That means we have 30 minutes to wait because they're on a delay and she's sitting in the courtroom. 30 minutes. Oh my God, this is torture. Torture. Absolute torture. Donkey, donkey, donk. Bum, 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 bum. 30 minutes seems like an eternity. I know it does, right, Cherie? It absolutely does. Hold on a second, you guys. Here. I'm going to drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to come up and chit chat for the next little bit till they come back to the stand. As late as it is, though, in the day, I don't know that the judge would be like, he's probably going to call it a day. Because it's after 5 o'clock right now. It's almost, it's 20 after 5. So I'm guaranteeing you that he's going to come in and tell them that they're going to go home for the day, reconvene tomorrow, and he will make his decision then. You know what I mean? No, they're on Eastern time, P. Lola. I'm pretty sure, right? Does anybody know for sure? I think they're on Eastern time. Let me go look. Um, Well, it says Columbia, South Carolina is on Eastern Standard Time, but is all of South Carolina? I don't know where they're located, where they're having this at. What part of South Carolina? Do, 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 do. Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay. 1 minute ago, Gigi said judge rules the child CSAM materials will not come in. It's not relevant to the trial. And the guardian made that determination of recommending the kid be placed with her mom based on the information she had at the time. 1 minute ago, Gigi says on Twitter, defense proffers the guardian and has her say, knowing what she knows now, she would have removed the child from Christina immediately. Defense proffers the guardian and has her say, knowing what she knows now, she would have removed the child from Christina immediately. Wow. Okay, all of South Carolina is Eastern. P. Lola, well, P. Lola says so she believes the essay thing's going around about the victim. Interesting. I think that there's evidence of it, P. Lola. Like, I think there's evidence that there was. Hmm. Someone replies to Gigi at Pretty Lies and Alibis and says, I really think the judge is making an error here, and I'm well aware of my bias on being in the know when the jury isn't. Prosecution opened that door. The defense should be able to walk through it. Miss King says, I understand how it doesn't affect the case in a way, but I think it could prove that there is possibly other things that could have happened. Yeah, I get that too. I mean, I still feel like it doesn't. Um, I feel like it still doesn't have the CSAM stuff has nothing to do with the defendant, but I don't know. I don't like how they're you know. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. I think he did, Donnie. I think he did it. I mean, like everything points his direction, right? Everything points there. Now, once we get the DNA evidence that says it was definitely his DNA under her nails, and we get the we find out that it was for sure her DNA on that bike, then yeah, I'm pretty sure. Are you still looking for that cup? Hold on, I gotta go help him find this child's cup. Lord, the latest in true crime, you guys. It's the case of the missing cup. We found it, though. We found it. All right. Weird. What in the world? 2 minutes ago, Gigi says a juror now talking to the judge and both sides. What? 1 minute ago, she says, and we are back to the cross of the guardian ad litem. Why would the juror be talking to the judge? And both sides, what about? Weird. That's not weird at all. That's not weird at all. Right, it's always the favorite things that go missing. I know it. I know it. Lordy dee. I would say that they will see if there is any rebuttal. Or redirect. And then call it for the day, because like I said, it's 5:30. Yeah. That's what I would say they will do. Finish up with her, maybe, so that she don't have to, like, come back tomorrow. I keep watching for more, like, live tweets. I'm just looking to make sure we're still on. We're still on. Oh, you guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it for today. I hate to, but I'm, like, trying to get a headache. I'm not trying to. I don't want one, but I feel one on the way. And the computer screen is making it worse, I feel like. They will be coming back any second from the 30-minute delay. So, for you guys that want to finish out this, you know, just head over to Law and Crime Network and grab it and watch it from there. We're in real time, so you should be able to find it. Here, let me grab it. I've got the link right here. Finish watching. watching today's testimony here. Ms. King says, I like her. I think she took her guardian position seriously, but had no idea what the child was going through. I know. But there you go. Head on over there. Yes, Cynthia. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could, because there's not going to be much left. I could finish what's left here tomorrow morning, first thing. That would be okay. I can do that. We can do that. Yeah. But I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go grab some Tylenol. Try to nip this headache in the bud. And, yeah. I think so. But I love you guys. Thank you for spending all day with me.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I wasn't talking to you, Alexa. Sorry, guys. Probably all yours are going off now, too. I'm so sorry. But I'll be back tomorrow morning, okay? I'll be back in the morning, probably about the same time as today, around 10 a.m. Eastern, somewhere around in there. So, but we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of your night. Make sure to hit the thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe if you're new, and hashtag replay in the comments down below if you watch this later. All right? You guys have a good night, and I will see you in the morning. Bye. Love you.